Good afternoon. Today we're here with Lorraine Flisher. She is the Director of Health and Wellness here at Londonderry, better known as the nurse. Lorraine, let's start with how long have you been at Londonderry?
Actually, November 2nd, it'll be 10 years. So I'm coming up on my 10th
Oh,
year
congratulations.
anniversary.
And what brought you to Londonderry?
Well, I started as the exercise instructor. I had taught fitness classes over at Cross Court for 17 years. And one of the ladies that took the class moved here. So I was having lunch with her, and Irma said, I understand you teach classes. Would you be interested in teaching? So I started teaching here first. And then she said, probably a year or two later, I understand you're a nurse as well. And I said, mm-hmm. She said, we're looking for a nurse. And I said, well, that's nice because I'm looking for a job. So that kind of worked out.
Oh, wonderful. And your background, obviously, I mean, did you have a background? You're a nurse, but did you specialize in seniors or?
Well, for the 20 some odd years that I did nursing, it was really med-surg nursing. Because I had children, I have 4 children. I worked part-time evenings, and therefore I worked per diem so I could choose my schedule. So when you work per diem, you fill in, and I was the nurse that they plugged in all the places they were short-staffed, which really, it was difficult, but it worked to my benefit because I would go from the ER up to orthopedics, to surgical, to postpartum. So I got a very good cross section or cross training in nursing. And I think through that, I developed the skill of acclimating and adapting quickly, and also a broad, based knowledge of nursing in general.
Which I know our residents really appreciate. I mean, Londonderry is very big on living well, living in the community, living fit, and you don't do traditional nursing here, but you do. Tell us a little bit about what a day is like in the life of Lorraine.
So after I did med-surg nursing, I went on, when we moved here to the Eastern Shore 35 years ago, I worked at Cross Court, and that's when I started to specialize in older populations fitness training. So I got my certification as a fitness instructor through American Council on Exercise, and then group fitness, and that's when I started to specialize in older populations. So it's a nice combination here between having 4 children and having siblings who were in the medical field and working in medicine for 20 years and then working in health and fitness. I felt like this job, I really was in my lane. So an average day here, it actually turns out to be more of like an average week. On any given day, the first thing I do is I usually start with an exercise class because I teach 4 times a week, and I oversee the other classes that are taught. And then as each resident comes in, I spend time interviewing them and getting to know them. That's the secret sauce, to know each resident very well, their background, the meds they're taking, their medical history, where they're coming from, what brought them here to Londonderry. And when you know the population, that really makes a difference. And so as the day goes on, there's what I call the feedback loop. So either the other residents or the staff or visitors or family the information gets funneled to me constantly. I noticed someone hasn't, picked up their newspaper today, or housekeeping might say, so-and-so's still in bed today. And I follow every lead, which is a very efficient and effective way to see the patterns in people. And if you know your resident population well and patterns, you can see a change in pattern. So it becomes a beautiful way of practicing preventative medicine, where I can see something and catch it before it becomes a problem. In senior populations, something like a urinary tract infection is very common. So if I see a person who all of a sudden is a little confused, a little off balance, out of sorts. I investigate that, and through pretty much assessment and then intervention.
Right, but we don't actually do the intervention. You send them to their
Right.
primary or do something. It's good because when I first started here, I can attest. She knows the residents well. One of the first things she did was she took me on a walking tour, and every single house, she knew everyone in the house and
Oh, yeah.
and how they came and where they came from and if they had any needs. And it's nice, like I said, we're a community here. So Lorraine is correct in saying if a neighbor notices somebody isn't coming to dinner or somebody seems down, Lorraine makes sure she makes a visit there just to make sure they're okay. We try not to get too involved, but she definitely has the connection with the resident to say, you might want to check with your doctor, or you should call your daughter. Or, by the way, your daughter called me and she wanted me to stop in and check on you. So what a great resource. You're like the local detective here. And she does let the rest of the team, the directors and the staff, not know anybody's private information, but say, so-and-so is having a rough time. Maybe just if anybody sees anything, let me know. It's a really good working concept. Everybody enjoys Lorraine's class. I know that for sure. You only teach 3 days a week, and 4 days a week, and when you're not there, they're very, very sad.
Right. We have fun in that class. They see the unfiltered Lorraine in that class. So we have a saying, what happens in that class stays in that class. And it really forms...
It's like going to Vegas.
It forms a sense of camaraderie amongst the group for new people coming in. It's a way for them to get to know a smaller group of people initially, and then it's easier to branch out from there. Because if you are new to Londonderry and you just walk into the dining room, or any place, even when you were in school, if you walked into the lunchroom, it's overwhelming. So I often advise residents when they move here and I meet with them, find an activity or several activities that are smaller in size and get to know that group of people. And then you'll always recognize someone, in the dining room, and they start to branch out from there.
You do have a helper that helps, and she's also a nurse, right? Mm-hmm. And she helps when you need off, or when you'd like to have a weekend to yourself.
Liz Whitby, and she has worked for the health department for like 35 years, and her and I are simpatico, just because it's tricky giving report and handing that phone off. And the nice part about that is 2 nurses, myself and Liz, know the residents at all times. So when she's on call and she gets a phone call, she knows exactly what's going on with that resident. We're a good team. I enjoy working with Liz.
You definitely are a good team, and you definitely keep the rest of us as involved as we need to be. What's your favorite thing about working here at Londonderry, beside working for me? No.
There's so much I love. I think, honestly, it's very fulfilling work. And at this stage of my life, in my old age, how lucky am I to not only have this wonderful job, but to feel gratified every day. It's very rewarding. There's days that it's very stressful, the days that it's very sad. You've seen that. Because there's incoming people and then there's end of life. One of the beautiful things about Londonderry is that a person can stay here till the very end. And one of the other things I do is help coordinate care. I know a lot of independent caregivers. I work very well with the agencies. I know which ones are the best ones to advise, so I do like the care coordination.
Right.
And having a person being able to stay in their home and comfortable till the very end, and I've been there with them, even though it's sad and it's hard, it's a full circle moment, and that at this stage of my life is very, very rewarding. So I think the fact that I feel like I'm doing good work. as well as getting paid, because I need to get paid too. So, but it's a wonderful place to work. And because everyone is happy working here, it's a nice environment. It's a nice group of people to work with.
Well, I know the residents are so thankful for you. I know we're thankful for you as well. And you really do bring that wealth of knowledge. You're able to transition from one person's care to the next easily. And you bring that caring element with everything, the end of life, the starting here. And I am in awe with how gracefully you do it.
Oh, well, thank you.
So